And then all of a sudden, a letter from the judge drops.
Yeah, we've lost some talk.
Hi, welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Shashti Floor, journalist, Hollywood truth teller, and your voice of reason in a town built on delusion. So much has happened since Friday, you guys, and it's not all that great. I'm so sorry to bring some bad news. So since I spoke on Friday about how Taylor Swift said she was willing to testify, the docket has been on fire. I think there's been like 15 new filings since I last spoke. And one of them was from Taylor Swift's team, her lawyer, saying that Taylor Swift never said she was willing to do this. She said she would do it if she was forced, and here's her availability. To me, that kind of says that she's willing to do it, but they said that she's not. Maybe it's a PR thing, that they didn't want it to look like Taylor was like doing this to support Baldoni, but that she actually still wants to stay out of it. I don't know. I guess when you're saying your availability of what dates you could actually turn up for a deposition, it says that you're kind of willing to do it. Anyways, so then 2 seconds later, there was another letter from Blake Lively's team saying that they do not want this deposition to take place. Surprise, surprise. And they were like, Taylor Swift has nothing to do with this. And this is another PR stunt. The same thing that they've been repeating over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden, a letter from the judge drops. He says, it's too late. You can't depose Taylor Swift now. I don't care what she has to say, because he's not saying that they have to skip this deposition or they can't depose her because she doesn't have anything to add to the case. They're saying you had so much time already to do this. I'm not going to allow it to happen. In the same ruling, he allowed Blake Lively's team to get more time to depose Justin Baldoni, Steve Sarowitz, and Jamie Heath. They're getting until October 10th because they said that they got all these documents from them at such a late moment that they need more time to look through everything to prepare their depositions. So surprise, surprise, the judge ruled in favor of Blake Lively and not in favor of Justin Baldoni. Another thing about that deposition is that if Taylor Swift wanted to fight the deposition, she could have filed a motion to quash. She didn't do that. She said, I'll do it if I'm forced to, which everyone has to do. If they're forced to do something by court order, they have to do it. It's the law. After this happened, the Wayfair party sent another letter to the judge to say, we want to tell you why it's so important for us to talk to Taylor Swift. And the judge denied that as well. But there's some hope here, you guys, because this doesn't mean that Taylor Swift is out of the equation. We have to remember something here. I was watching Not Actually Golden. I really like the way she breaks things down. It's very understandable. And she's very fair in the way she presents everything. I mentioned her the other day in one of my videos as well. And I just wanted to share a little clip from her latest video where she talks about how Blake Lively actually introduced Taylor Swift in the beginning of spring, saying that, hey, judge, Taylor Swift is a person who has knowledge to the situation, insinuating back then that Taylor Swift actually had direct knowledge to what was going on, and that Blake Lively wanted to potentially use her as a witness. And they asked the Wayfarers to look into it. And then just a few months later, Blake Lively said that Taylor Swift has nothing to do with it, and we don't want her in this case whatsoever, and just forget about the whole thing. Then Brian Friedman signs this affidavit talking about how Blake Lively had pressured Taylor Swift to delete text messages. So the relevance of Taylor Swift is pretty obvious, according to Not Actually Golden. This is what she said.
When Blake Lively submitted her initial disclosures in the spring of this year, she put in those initial disclosures that Taylor Swift was a person who likely had knowledge. And what she said Taylor Swift likely had knowledge of, you can see it here, this is actually from the judge's order, likely to have knowledge about complaints or discussions regarding the working environment on the set of It Ends With Us. So in the spring of this year, this is what Blake Lively was saying was, this is a person you might want to talk to because she is going to have some shit to say as relates to my claim of harassment. Now, by June, she had done a complete 180. By June, she was asking the court for a protective order to stop her from having to turn over her emails and text messages with Taylor Swift. Now, it didn't work because the judge denied the motion for protective order, citing the fact that he had included Taylor Swift in her initial disclosures. And he even went further and said Lively has put in her complaint, one of her allegations is that Swift has knowledge of complaints or discussions about the working environment, and that she expressed her complaints about the working environment in contemporaneous messages.
Who knows what's in those text messages? But luckily, Wayfarer, Parties, and Baldoni will have access to those messages, and hopefully they find what they need in there. The thing is, bottom line here is that Blake Lively still has zero evidence of any SH going on that set. She said also in her earlier filings that there were conversations she had with people about what had happened to her on the sets, and we haven't seen any of that communication yet. If there were any communication like that, I think she would have used it so far. She also has no evidence of any retaliation campaign. So we might not see Taylor Swift as a witness. I think it's super sad. I was really upset when that news hit. I was like, no, it's all seemed like it was finally going Justin Baldoni's way here. And then the judge went like, just another slap in the face. Anyways, there is some good news, though. I have to say that this is amazing, and I'm so happy for Perez Hilton that the subpoena against him was dropped.
Happy freaking Friday! Ah!
So Blake Lively decided to drop it, and it wasn't because Perez Hilton was fighting it himself. He said in one of his videos that after he appeared in court the last time, there was an attorney there called Don Toman, and he put him in touch with ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union. And Perez said that I met with them on Monday. On Wednesday, they sent me over a retainer agreement. On Thursday, we went over the retainer agreement and some other questions they had. I signed it on Thursday, and immediately afterwards, the ACLU of Nevada called Blake Lively's lawyers to let them know that they were representing me. And then, bam, next day, they drop it.
Blake Lively did not want to take on the ACLU. And to prove that, unfortunately, Blake Lively is still fighting and pursuing the subpoena against Popcorn Planet, a YouTuber. The same communications that may or may not exist from me, which Blake Lively claims that she now has, she got them also for Andy Signor. But she's not dropped the subpoena against him because he's paying for his own lawyer, sadly. And it's retaliation, I think.
And this is also why I think it's so important to continue talking about this case, because the way that they had terrorized and harassed Perez Hilton for 3 months and would probably continue to do so for several months to come, that's not okay. And it needs to get out there that this is the way that they operate. It's not okay that celebrities with so much power and so much money are allowed by the legal system to harass regular people. It's not okay, and it has to stop. Anyways, at least I'm very, very happy for Perez. Congratulations to him for doing this all by himself for so long. He must be exhausted by now, but I'm so excited that he finally can get some peace and can get his life back again. Yeah, I hope my next video is going to be a little more positive, you guys. I'm so sorry that this happened, and I was so excited that Taylor Swift had agreed to be deposed. And even if she said that she still agreed, the judge would have shut it down. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and please have a lovely Sunday. And don't let this ruin your day. There are more to come. Even though it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back, we know where the truth lays, and that's the most important thing. Anyway, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of Flossom Talk, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Yeah, we fought some talk.